Hey everybody, Austin back again, this time with some Bally 8 Ball pinball gameplay. Now I actually wasn't planning on doing this video, but I did have a few requests from a few of my subscribers, so, well, here we are now. So yeah, I just actually recently got this Bally 8 Ball pinball machine, and I already did sort of a pseudo pickup video for it, showing it off and sort of describing the game a little bit. But this is going to be much like my Rolling Stones pinball gameplay videos, some straightforward, straight gameplay of this game. Now, Bally 8 Ball is a very simplistic game compared to a modern game like the Rolling Stones, but it still has some basic goals you want to shoot for and some basic, patterns you can get into and rhythms you can get into when you learn this game. And there's definitely a little bit to it to get used to, and so as I progress through this video, I'll go ahead and try to explain everything to the best of my ability. Now, to sort of kick things off, I wanted to sort of preface this with a few things that you should know as I'm playing this game. For one, the table is actually leaning to the left. It's leaning actually pretty bad to the left, and I have quite a few drains because it's leaning. Like the ball will just roll off one flipper and go straight down the middle when it's probably not supposed to. I've had this game for a few weeks now, and I haven't gotten around to leveling it yet, so that's going to be on my list of things to do very soon. One other thing to note is that the tilt bobber actually does not work. Well, actually, it sort of works. If I get down and touch the tilt bob sensor, it'll actually tilt, but it's not registering when the actual tilt bobber touches the metal ring inside the cabinet. So I don't know what's going on there. So basically, in some of my later games especially, I do some maneuvers that would definitely get you tilted out, especially in a competitive scenario in a tournament or something like that. So I get away with some things I'm probably not supposed to be able to, but at the same time, the game's leaning to the left, so maybe that kind of makes up for it a little bit. So yeah, Bally 8 Ball, it's actually a really fun game, but it can be a really, really punishing or brutal game. You can have some very, very fast ball times. Lots of straight down the middle, lots of straight down the middle activity, and lots of left out lane drains as well when you don't have the kickback lit. Fortunately, the game does have a kickback, and that's actually the 8 ball target up in the top right hand corner of the playfield. That's actually arguably the most important shot in the game, is that 8 ball target. Now you can actually hit it two ways. You can actually try to hit it straight on. And I'm tapping the playfield because I've actually got the blinds open right now, and it looks like one of the lights went out, but it turns out the lights were just dim. They are still working. But the 8 ball shot, most important shot, you can actually hit it through that right loop, or you can try to hit it directly on. Or if you want, you can try to pop it to the top of the playfield and pass it through the rollovers into the pop bumpers, and sometimes the ball will actually ricochet into the 8 ball target from the pops. So actually technically three ways to hit the 8 ball target. I personally prefer to use the right loop when going for the 8 ball shot, because what happens is the ball loops back around, and a lot of times it will ricochet off the pops into the 8 ball target. I'd actually say more often than not, the ball will hit the 8 ball target by doing that. And so the problem with trying to hit the 8 ball target directly on is that sometimes the ball will just ricochet directly back at you, which actually happens in my my demonstration video when I first got this game. Or it just won't register. I actually hit it quite a few times. I might even do it a couple times in this play session where I hit the ball directly onto the 8 ball target and it doesn't register. So, which is kind of odd, but, it seems to register fine when it ricochets into the 8 ball target from the pops, but it has a harder time when I actually try to aim straight for it. So, getting a little ahead of myself, 8 ball has a very simple premise and goal, or set of goals if you're trying to go for points. Basically, all the main shots in the game have pool balls lit on them. And currently, as of right now, I've basically got all of them. I've already collected all of them. Or did I? Yeah, I did. Yeah, I got all eight of them, so I can't really demonstrate that right now. But the goal is to get collect all 8 pool balls And what that does is it lights the pool balls in the center of the playfield. So right now I've got every pool ball lit. Well, technically every pool ball for myself. Unlike a game like Big Shot where you can actually collect all the balls in the rack, in this game you only collect 8 balls. And how it works is player 1 is balls 1 through 8. Actually, players 1 and 3 play balls 1 through 8, and players 2 and 4 play balls 9 through 15. So yeah, it's only an 8-ball game, hence the title of the game, 8 Ball. And yeah, the pool balls basically act as your end of ball bonus, and just like a lot of these old games, bonus is crucial in this game. And it looks like we're actually already on game 2, and I've actually dimmed the lights a little bit. I found the glare from the window was a little too much, so I went ahead and turned the room lights on and dimmed the blinds a little bit. So we're on game 2. This game's actually going to be a tad bit longer than the last one, and actually the third game is going to be even longer than this one. And this is where I think I start getting a little more rough with the game. But anyway, backtracking a little bit, basically the point of the game is to collect the pool balls, and that's where you get a lot of your points from. On the end of bonus, each pool ball is worth 3,000 points. Now, that doesn't really seem like much. You might get, I guess, about 45,000 by default. But as your end of bonus, if you can get all 8 pool balls. But what happens is the right loop will actually build your bonus multiplier, and you can get your bonus multiplier up to 5 times, which can make that 45,000 go a lot longer. And that was a bad drain. So what I like to do is try to collect the pool balls and then go for that right loop so I can get my bonus multiplier up. On that ball, I only had it up to 3 times the bonus, so just one more shot on that right loop would have put it up to 5 times. It's actually really easy to max out your bonus multiplier in this game. And awful drain. The 8 ball actually lights the kickback, and what you really want to do, and this is kind of going back to why I said the 8 ball target is probably the most important shot in the game, is that it lights your kickback. When your kickback on the left out lane is not lit, go for the 8 ball target, and once you hit it, you will light the kickback. The 8 ball target's also really important because it lights your spinner, and your spinner is 1,000 points a spin. And so if you hit the spinner really good, you could be looking at up in between 20 and 40,000 in points, which is a nice chunk of points in this game. It's actually a really nice little chunk of points. So yeah, 8 ball target is super important in this game. And the second the ball goes into the left out lane and gets popped back out, go for that 8 ball target, because what happens is you probably drain in the left out lane more than any other lane in this game. So the right out lane's not too bad, actually. And the center drain, well, yeah, you do get some straight down the middle, especially from the pops. Like that was a close one right there. But it usually goes out the left out lane. So always go for that 8 ball shot. But yeah, spinner's really good. What I like to do, though, is try to collect the pool balls. What you can do is just shoot the 8 ball target and then just milk the spinner over and over and over again. That can get you some good points. But I like building up that really big bonus, getting all 8 pool balls lit, and then 5 times playfield, or not 5 times playfield, but 5 times end of ball bonus multiplier. Now, if you actually get all 8 pool balls and you nail the 8th ball, you'll actually activate the super bonus, which is above the playfield multipliers. And when that is lit, you'll get the super bonus at the end of your next ball. And that is worth 24,000 points. Now, what's crucial about that is that it'll get multiplied as well up to 5 times. So what'll happen is you'll have 8 balls at 3,000 points times 5, and then you'll have the super bonus for 24,000 times 5. So you're basically looking at, if you get it, you have the potential to get upwards of 250,000 points in bonus, I believe. That's massive in this game. And it's a little tough to get to it, but if you have some good control, and I think if your game is a little bit steeper than mine is right now, where it's a little easier to control, which that actually reminds me, I need to raise the legs up a little bit so I can have a little more control. It's a little floaty right now. But arguably, it's actually probably better to keep the game floaty if you're trying to practice for competitive play. A lot of tournaments I played in, the games have been kind of slow and floaty. They're not really fast. But I prefer my games fast and steeper, so they're a little bit easier to control, easier to do some live catches and things like that. But yeah. So yeah, 8 Ball, you can have tons of points and bonus. So, and you know, I basically explained just about all there is to know about the game. Actually, one thing that's kind of interesting is the balls that you can collect in the top rollover lanes. Once you collect all of those, you light these 2 arrows right beneath the top rollovers. And if you actually hit a rollover that's lit with the arrow, you'll spot yourself 1 light on the right loop. So that'll actually progress up to your bonus multipliers as well, which is actually really good to know, because if you collect your pool balls and you're having a hard time going for that 8 ball, or if, say, you've already got all your balls and the spinner's lit, what you can do is milk the spinner, and you've got about a 50% chance of the ball hitting, or I guess maybe more of a 75% chance of the ball hitting one of those lit rollover lanes at the top, which will, 1, give you lots of spinner bonus points, and 2, it'll spot one of your bonus multipliers on the center of the playfield. And actually, if you get your bonus multipliers maxed out to 5 times, the next step is an extra ball, which you'll actually see me get a couple in these playthroughs. I believe that was actually my last ball, so we're actually going to be moving on to game 3, which is going to be the final game in this video. I'm not going to have it go on for an hour like the Rolling Stones. There's just not as much to do in this game, but but this game is longer than the last one. So, but after that, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. So yeah, there's actually some neat ways to sort of progress towards things in this game. I mean, again, your bonus multipliers, you can either just shoot the right loop. I don't want to really call it an orbit because it doesn't come all the way around. But the right loop will progress your bonus multipliers. But once you complete the 4 pool balls in the top of the playfield, those those lit arrows will become lit, and then yeah, that'll also spot your shots in the right loop. Jeez, can't even talk right now. Too focused on the game. So yeah, you can kind of progress towards certain things in a variety of ways, which is kind of cool. I like that. So again, we got the kickback lit, and I just hit another one of the balls. So now I got to get the 7 ball on the right, which you've actually seen me try to do an alley pass a couple times. A failed alley pass. And it's actually really tough to do an alley pass. The alley pass is the trick where you basically roll the ball off the very edge of the tip of a flipper and roll it into the opposite in lane. And you kind of roll it up. Oh, got it. Wow. Good time to talk about it because I just got it. That was the alley pass, guys. And that's actually really tough to do in this game. And I've been trying to do it a lot in this playthrough. And there was a little sort of drop catch there, which I really need to be doing more of in this game. I try to do a lot of bounce passes, and that's not really good in this game because the ball will bounce off a flipper and go straight into a slingshot. So, you know, if you're trying to get control, bounce passing in this game doesn't seem to be that great. If you're bounce passing from the left flipper, maybe it's better, but what I tend to be doing is bounce passing from the right flipper, and it bounces over but into the left flipper slingshot, which is bad. One other thing I actually forgot to mention as I was explaining that right loop is the rollover in the top. That actually is what triggers, you know, the lights, and triggers, yeah, basically just the targets there in the right loop. And the rollover in the right orbit, not the right loop, I'm sorry, is it's actually lit up sort of green. It's a nice little tint. I like that. And when I got this game, that light was actually burnt out. I didn't even know that rollover was supposed to light up until I replaced all the bulbs on the game. And so yeah, really cool little sort of green looking thing. That's just a stock, you know, 44 bulb. I didn't have an LED in there or anything like that. There's actually only one LED on this game because the socket actually, for some reason, doesn't like the standard 44s. It's some kind of connection problem. So what I did is I put a white LED in there, but it's actually underneath an insert right next to the left left loop, left orbit spinner shot. But you can't see it because you kind of have to be down low to be able to see it. You know, I was actually going to experiment with some LEDs in this game, mainly on like the pool rack. But the problem with these old games is they're not set up to really be compatible with LEDs. The LEDs will keep flashing on their own when they're not supposed to. And I think I read that you have to, you know, solder down resistors or something like that to get them to look right. So, you know, I went ahead and just replaced every bulb in the game with regular 44s, a brand new pack. And the game is definitely shining a little more bright than it was when I got it. Which is nice. All the bulbs are fresh. None of them are too burnt out or drawing extra power that they don't need to. So it's looking pretty good. Although by the end of this gameplay session, I believe one of my bulbs on the pool rack, it wasn't necessarily burnt out, but I do have some problems where a couple of the lights on the center rack, I don't know if they're loose connections or something like that. But occasionally the lights will come on, occasionally they'll go off, and, you know, I don't really know how to solve that problem. I'm gonna have to research it. This is the first time I've had an old pinball machine, and I'm still relatively new to owning pinball machines in general, as I just got my Rolling Stones about 6 or 7 months ago now, so... But yeah, we're actually a little over halfway through this game, and here it's actually calculating the super bonus. It already calculated the regular bonus, and now it's calculating the super bonus. So it's 24,000 times 5, which is a nice chunk of points. So I actually got a really big bonus on that ball, which was great. And I believe I had actually cashed in the extra ball as well. If you're playing solo in this game, and you're at a place with extra balls, you know, enabled, you definitely want to get your bonus multiplier loop going, because that'll enable your extra ball. And now you can actually have the extra balls turned off, which is a dip switch setting. You can actually make the game a little bit more difficult as well. Whereas right now, the game is actually set. If you get a top rollover and you collect one of the balls in the top rollover lanes, it'll actually spot you 2 balls up there. And yeah, that would have definitely tilted me in a regular game. But yeah, I've got it set to spot you 2 balls, and you can have it set to where you only collect the ball that you actually get in that rollover. So, but I feel this game is so fast, and you can have really short ball times, so I don't want to make it insanely brutal. And I mean, that's actually a perfect example right there where I should have drop catched. And yeah, I've got to practice this more and start getting used to drop catching more. And you know what, look at this, I'm going for the 7 ball when I should be going for that extra ball in the right loop, because the extra ball is lit. Just one shot up there would give me the extra ball, but instead I'm trying to experiment, and I'm trying to alley pass to to get that 7 ball, which is in the right in lane. Well, I got it, which is good, but in pinball, you really, you know, it's kind of, I don't know, you kind of got to learn to prioritize in pinball. And the thing about pinball is you've really got to have discipline. And what'll happen is I'll be playing a game and I'll have a really important shot lit, but I'll be going for something else that's, you know, kind of stupid or not really worthwhile or necessary, just because it's a fun shot. It feels good, you know? So basically what I should have done is get that extra ball. And I think that ball was actually, I don't know, maybe the connection got loose because I didn't collect the extra ball, but the light was out. So I don't know what happened there. Yeah, this game's definitely got a couple issues as far as, you know, lights kind of not working at times. You'll power it off, then power it back on, and then a light will work, but then another light will be out. It's really odd. If anyone knows the reason for that, shoot me a message or post a comment below. Because again, I'm still kind of new with these pinball machines, especially these old ones, and yeah. I actually haven't gotten down and soldered anything yet. You know, I've just, yeah, everything's just been kind of working so far, and the whole bulb thing where the lights just sometimes come on and sometimes go off at random, even when, you know, I've actually hit the target, they won't be lit. You know, I don't know the cause for that, so. And that's it. That is, I believe that's the end of our last game. And that was actually a shame. See, I had 8 pool balls lit, and really what I should have been trying to do is get that bonus multiplier up. I even had the kickback lit, and that would have given me a lot of points. So that's basically it, guys. It's Bally 8 Ball. I apologize for not having a separate reel with the actual score as I was playing. I was actually planning on doing that. And you know what's funny? I actually had my cell phone camera recording that as I was doing this gameplay session. But through shaking the game too much, the camera wasn't mounted properly. It was just kind of leaning against something. And through that, the camera actually got shaken up a little bit and it got out of focus. And basically, I only had half the score videotaped and recorded, so I ended up just trashing that footage completely since you couldn't see the whole score. So for that, I apologize, but I don't think it was all that important. One of the games I actually was that last game, I believe, I had about 700-something thousand. I got close to rolling the game, and had I actually gotten 5 times bonus on that last ball, I would have gotten upwards. I would have gotten really, really close to rolling the game, so... But anyway, that's it, guys. Again, I'm Austin. This is Bally 8 Ball. I hope you enjoyed this video. A little bit of rambling going on. But yeah, if you want to check out some more pinball gameplay footage, I do have a nice hour-long video. Maybe a little long for its own good, but a nice hour-long video of the Rolling Stones, which I did a few months back as well. So you can check that out. And yeah, that's about it. I'm going to say thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys soon. Take care.